Maverick Physical Therapy. Welcome to the confines, if you will, to my undomesticated heritage back in Fremont, Michigan. My parents' fruit and vegetable farms. We're gonna be talking and going through some episodes and what I find an interesting concept today with the latest fitness crazes and fads. Words such as farm strength. And a branch off of our business, Maverick Physical Therapy, is Farm Fitness Adventure School. And I think a lot of times what people are replicating as farm strength gets really misconstrued and is very misunderstood and very unidimensional. And by that, what I mean is several different things. First, in regards to the confines of a facility which most people work in, play in, I should say, or exercise in, very controlled environmentally in terms of the surfaces, in terms of footwear, in terms of equipment, and in terms of climate control. On the farm, we have in August right here 90 plus degree weather plus 90 plus degree humidity. We've got extreme heat, extreme humidity. We've got rain, we've got snow, we've got sleet. We've got mud, we've got dirt, we've got sand, you name it, we have it. We're working in all conditions. And another thing, our work days don't last 25 minutes or maybe 45 or 60 minutes like a workout. In agriculture, our days might start at 5 or 6 a.m. and who knows when they end. They might end at 11 p.m. or midnight. There is elastability related variable that plays a key role in the success of a farmer. We have, in terms of acts and activities that we perform, so growing up on fruit and vegetable farms, off to the side, I'm not quite sure if you can see or not, but in terms of piles of wood, whether it was taking out apple trees, chopping wood, cutting down trees, chopping them up, loading them on wagons to heat our water and to heat our homes throughout the fall, the winter, and sometimes the spring. Whether it was harvesting large rocks from fields, unless they were too big and we needed to use a forklift to be able to harvest them. In terms of climbing and crawling and squatting and lunging and dragging and pushing and pulling bins of sweet corn, large burlap co-op bag sacks of pickles, large 5-gallon buckets filled with zucchini and summer squash and carrying 2 or 4 of those at a time in each hand, 2 in each hand. The ways of the farm life and the success of repeatability. So consistency and efficiency and continuing to repeat your best efforts. A lot of the schematics in terms of rest, work, intervals, and breaks today that we see in this fitness world, those that have created this seem like it's quite revolutionary in that let's close the gap on rest and work, but then let's only make it like 25 minutes. And so it was interesting 15 or 16 years ago when some of this stuff really started coming out, or in the public eye and mindset being kind of that new little craze. It's like, hey, wait a second, my ancestors have been closing the gap on rest and work for decades now. And our ancestors before that, and civilizations and society before that, we, in regards to the fitness world, we think it's cute and we think it's proper when it comes to bioenergetics to talk about the phosphogenic, the glycolytic, the oxidative energy systems, and to isolate all those so that we can perform 1 or maybe 5 repetitions of a clean, of a snatch, of a deadlift, of a bench press, or a squat, and say we're working on strength, or we're working on power, or we're working on endurance. But the reality of the matter is that outside the confines of those walls and that highly isolated unidimensional thought process in many dimensions, energetic and function and movement wise, in regards to our biological truths, our our physical truths and our physiological truths. We really miss the boat with that, and we really undermine and devalue the capabilities and the qualities of the human being, as movement is a combination of strength, power, balance, stability, coordination, timing, and rhythm, and endurance. It's a combination of all those energy systems to facilitate and allow you to continue to repeat your best efforts, because let's be realistic about it. In life and in competition and sport, we're never going to be necessarily 100%. We're dealt the cards in that we're always going to be experiencing fatigue, and we need to be able to work through that. We need to be able to optimize our consistency and efficiency to be able to endure that. So when I see these programs and when I hear this dialogue that converses about farm strength, we need to develop farm strength with our squats, with our deadlifts, with our benches, and with our cleans. We do that stuff too in terms of preparation, but we make it three-dimensional. Unnatural loadings for unnatural positions. Farm life is all about, and function in life is all about, asymmetrical positionings to create and optimize efficient and maximal loading throughout the musculoskeletal and neuromuscular system to create real motion, osteokinematics, bone motion, to therefore create proper arthrokinematics, joint motion, three-dimensionally in all planes. And when we limit the body's capabilities and qualities in regards to the bioenergetics, whether it's exerogenics and enderogenics, all of our fundamental principles of strength, balance, coordination, timing, rhythm, and power, and stability, and balance, and when we don't allow it to fit into the mold of what truth is, we really undermine and undervalue the human being and prepare us inadequately for farm labor and work, and for life and for function and competition and sport. So I think we need to get back to the drawing board. We need to take a look at, in terms of these asymmetrical loadings and positionings that we oftentimes use to preset the body, and in terms of with our feet and with our hands, because that's real life and that's practical. That's taking advantage of all these rotational and lateral, horizontal, and diagonal loading principles throughout the entire body. You're not going to find anybody in terms of farm strength moving objects like you would standing underneath a squat rack with 500 pounds, or cleaning and jerking or snatching with perfectly symmetrical feet and positioning and making sure that everything is in the right position at the right spot at the right time. Because again, biomechanically, if we were to look at this external resistance with regards to functional three-dimensional biomechanics in relation to where the center of gravity is and in relation to where the base of support is, and from a pathological state throughout the entire body, pathological meaning disease of the musculoskeletal and neuromuscular system, we need to take a look at, we need to have the knowledge of joint capsules, we need to have the knowledge of all fascia, musculotendinous, ligamentous, discs, capsular related things, and how all these properties relate and tie into the cardiovascular and the cardiorespiratory system, and how the body truly works as an integrated system, which we're really missing the boat on. So marketing is a big tool that has taken advantage of using a lot of fancy little words that have pushed ideologies, concepts, and principles to sell things to you, the consumer, the individual, or the practitioner, in making it sound good in terms of strength and in terms of power. But when we really look down to the root of what these definitions are in terms of strength, the human being's ability to be able to properly eccentrically decelerate, isometrically stabilize, and concentrically produce force while overcoming the resistance. That's where the deceleration and stabilization comes from. The effects of gravity, momentum, inertia, and ground reaction force three-dimensionally. These are very important and powerful physical truths from the physics world inside of things that we can't neglect. We have these biological truths, this compromisation of what makes up the human body, and we also have these, and tied into that, these physiological related truths, but then the behavioral truths. What's our function? What's our purpose in life? What do we love to do? And so we need to get back to the drawing board. This concept of functional strength today is bootleg at best. I would love and challenge anybody to come and actually engage in some farm work for longer than 25 minutes that you would at a typical CrossFit gym, or at a typical gym in which you're going to perform maybe 5 to 10 repetitions of a snatch, of a clean and jerk, maybe of a squat in one day, and then take it to the house because you're fatigued and tired. I'm sorry, but 25 repetitions of stuff in terms of power, in terms of function and survival, this is really, really pretty easy, conceptually wise, common sense things that we should be asking questions of from the people that are trying to feed us this information. It's so far from the truth, it's unbelievable. So if we were to have to survive based on those preparations, we would be miserably inadequate and fail with regards to that. We need to be able to use our bodies better. We need to be able to use our minds better. We need to be able to creatively engage, use common sense, use our body by the way that we can position it to create motion throughout the system, to properly load the body and develop true farm strength, which we're going to talk about in some further episodes. Down on the farm, Fremont, Michigan, my home, the root of industriousness for my family, the gifts that have been passed on to me. Ultimately, in life and anything, there's tons of people that are as good as what we are in the positions that we have. We need to be able to outwork, outlast, outwill, have more courage, mentally, emotionally, and physically be this beast of a hybridical creature that allows us to close the gap on our genetic potential and further create opportunities in where we're going to maybe take our family tree and pass things along. We have and we owe ourselves this responsibility of preserving fundamental skill development to future generations of movers. This is a battle to preserve authenticated, genuine motion and movement and function and farm strength. And I'll show you guys a little picture of the old, just briefly, some of the farm here. Grew up in the middle of a little 80-acre farm. We've got a bunch of squash, we've got a bunch of apples, we've got a bunch of corn. Give you a little 3D kind of perspective of things.